Samsung has just shown off their first foldable display, which they're calling Infinity Flex. What did they actually show and what does this all mean? Let's break it down SuperSaf style. Right, so first up, if you are expecting a complete finished product announcement, then you are going to be disappointed. Those are of course saved for the official Unpacked events. This was the Samsung Developer Conference. What we did see, however, was Samsung basically flexing their display tech muscles by showing off their first flexible display. I'm sorry. Now this concept has been shown before by Samsung, but this was the first time we saw a hardware prototype. Now we didn't get to see too much of it because the stage lights were dimmed and the device was also covered in a blocky case. What we did see was a front display which then can fold open to reveal a large 7.3-inch display, kind of like a mini tablet. Now Samsung did give us a few hints of how this new smartphone is going to work. So we've got app continuity, which basically means that whatever you've got on the front display is then going to continue on to the other main display when you open it up. And you'll also be able to run 3 apps simultaneously, and Samsung are calling this multi-active window. Now Google were also involved and they basically said that Android is going to support flexible displays going forward next year. But we don't have any specifics of the release date of this new device, which is potentially going to be called something like the Galaxy X or the Galaxy F. We don't know. Now, after watching the keynote, there were a few things running through my mind. We don't exactly know what the design is going to be like. All the design elements were covered by that huge case, but we can see a few hints from some of the diagrams that we saw later on in the keynote. So I think the first thing to bear in mind is that this device is going to be pretty thick. It's going to be much thicker than your standard smartphone, and that is because it's got a foldable display. So it's got displays on 2 sides and it is going to open up. So it might not be the size of 2 smartphones sandwiched together, but it is going to be thicker than a standard smartphone. The second thing that I noticed from the diagrams as well was that we're not going to get bezel-less screens. So especially the front display looks like it is going to have pretty big bezels on the top and bottom. The inside main display, which is going to be 7.3 inches, that might have smaller bezels, but it is still going to have bezels. This is still very new technology, and it's the first time we're going to see this on a mainstream device. Maybe in 2 to 3 years' time, we'll have completely bezel-less flexible displays, but at this point in time, it looks like this new device is going to have bezels. Now, these things are not set in stone. They're just observations that I've made from this keynote and the diagrams. We'll have to wait and see exactly what this new device looks like. In my opinion, innovations in display technology as well as smartphones are all positive things. Displays are getting bigger and bigger, and we don't want them to get to a point where they're just not going to be fitting in our pockets. So this foldable concept does open up lots of possibilities. Of course, in the lead up to the launch of this new device, there's going to be lots of leaks and rumors, and I will be covering those as and when they come out. What do you think about the Infinity Flex from Samsung so far? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know. Can you see yourself using a smartphone which has a front screen and then something that you can open up? It does raise a few questions for me personally. What is the battery life going to be like, considering that it's powering a massive display as well as a front display? A few things like that. What is the practicality going to be with it? These are all things that we're going to have to wait and see for. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you haven't already and you want to see more coverage like this, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications. There's lots more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.